Speaking of Amazon, a little controversy over this that's probably raising more hackles, the ability right now to watch those who return a lot of goods. If you're the kind who just buys a lot from Amazon and returns a lot to Amazon, Amazon has a message for you. Scoot down the bench. Don't have time for you. To tech watcher Stefanie Miller and our own Dieter Bolton, what's going on here, Dieter? Now, they're effectively saying, look, you've returned a lot of goods here, not you. Enough.
Yeah, if you're a hassle, they're just going to terminate your account. They are not. There's a lot of people complaining. Well, that's what really people are complaining about. So it's twofold. They're complaining that they're getting kicked off the service, and then sometimes they're not even told. I mean, there's been numerous examples where people aren't actually, it's never explained to them. Just, you know, you go on, you try to order something, and your account has been terminated. I do want to underline, this is legal.
Did they tell you that? Your account has been terminated?
Yeah, you know, it's just blocked. People closing accounts without warning or explanation. One customer, and people have been reaching out to the press, they've been posting on social media like horrible, you know, customer service. One customer told The Guardian last year he was kicked off Amazon after sending back 37 of 343 purchases in a year. Not a lot of extra details on that, but bottom line, this is legal. I mean, we all check that little box which say conditions of use. The company reserves the rights to basically terminate accounts at its discretion.
All right, now, Stephanie, that example that Dieter used was over 10% of purchases that were returned. Now, could that arbitrate, though this may be even my impression of it, be the point at which Amazon says, no, this is too weird?
It's hard to know. They wrote a little bit. I read a little bit about what's known about their processes here is not very much. They don't really disclose what triggers someone to be kicked off. But I do love how much control the company has. I think, you know, from an investor's point of view, you've got to love that Amazon doesn't even need customers that it thinks are abusing them.
Yeah, or that it can go and afford what it had to foresee would be nasty PR. Dieter, the company might be saying maybe more than we're hearing here, that these might be people who use something, wear it, or, you know, and then try to return it, or then keep doing that. I'm trying to get every possible weird benefit of the doubt here.
Yeah, I mean, they did put out a statement to Stephanie's point. We want everyone to be able to use Amazon. There are rare occasions where someone abuses, which is what you're talking about, our service over an extended period of time. We never take these decisions lightly, and they kind of go on with their explanation.
So, you know, returning a half-eaten Hickory Farms basket would be a telltale.
And Cavuto.
Not Cavuto again. No, that's not going to happen. Stephanie, I'm wondering here, let's say it's even justified in doing this. I just remember growing up, customer's always right. Customer's always right. And you just want to keep the customer happy, even if the customer, in rare cases, is trying to zing you. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it reminds me of something LL Bean had to do recently, which was take their anytime return policy, and folks were returning products that were 30 years old that they decided they were.
I remember that.
That's great. That's awesome. All right.
And they were like, well, you said I could return it any time, so here I am. And I think, you know, the customer is often wrong.
Yeah. But, you know, this just feeds this narrative of this company that gets bigger and bigger and is more reckless in its behavior. Now, maybe for a valid reason, you're an Amazon investor, you don't care, it's been the wind at your back. But is this the kind of stuff that gets, you know, Washington's attention? And you always have to rue that day.
Yeah, well, to your point, right, the stock is up 63% year to date. If you look at the NASDAQ, up something like 6.5%. I actually think what Adam Shapiro was talking about is more, I feel like, a tipping point kind of issue. I mean, whether they're annoying people who try to turn, you know, half-eaten sandwiches or something, that's a different category.
You've done that, haven't you? Come on, admit
They're like,
it's like alfalfa sandwich.
You seem like this is very personal reporting.
It's not cold cuts, it'll hold.
But I think the issue about privacy, and, you know, listen, we saw Facebook's founder, CEO Mark Zuckerberg grilled yesterday in Brussels. So I feel like what Adam spoke about with this recognition software, to me as a consumer and as a citizen, that's a whole lot creepier than whether or not they are annoyed every now and then with
creepy is part of capitalism, young lady. Stephanie, would you recommend this stock? With everything going on, it's had quite a ride, as Dieter pointed out, and it just sort of shakes off these little storms.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the movement in the tech sector over the last couple of months has truly been tied to the regulatory risk, which is the area that we at Hite Capital Markets tend to focus on. And when you look at what the regulatory risk actually is, you know, GDPR is the biggest upcoming regulatory risk. That's an EU privacy regulation that takes effect in 2 days. It's really not expected to hurt Amazon or any of its big, large competitors that much. It really hurts its smaller, bespoke technology competitors more, and sort of, helps lift the bridges of the moat around the castle for these guys. So it's looking fine from a regulatory perspective for now.
All right, it's a big castle.
And I think their second headquarters goes near D.C., right? We talked about this. If they employ all the congressmen's kids, nieces, and nephews, regulatory risk evaporates, maybe.
Not a bad strategy at all, is it?
I find her to be very jaded. I don't know about you. All right, thanks, guys. So again, word of warning to those who are returning the processed meats and cheeses half-eaten. That could come back to cost you. Just saying.